That's in the 그래서 다 맛이 드린데 내데 소보드지라 데버스라면도 디 켄다르자서 드린두상에 간데르비시기 삼로 베다 뉴버비시라 지커 디라 메데비스도 드린다 조대가 주디마 슝코랑 긍시 슝코랑 디 토알이야 쇼로가르 체네 드신도 두두두 있자위나 성도
So today actually I'm not feeling that particularly comfortable, and as such lack the energy to focus in a more enthusiastic way, and that is to say, to be more creative. And as such, maybe what I will probably do is follow the root text and verse by verse, and give brief commentaries on it.
Molam judo da number sumie vale tambo molam ji jorwa shebe da molam ji jorwa shebe kab.
So the Mahamudra aspiration has basically an outline of three phases: the initial application process, and the aspiration, and the support or the conclusion part. And so first commenting on the initial, the application part.
Namo Guru said, Namo Guru Lama la Chatseros, Tianji Gumdi Lama de Toma Zawe Lama Zawe Lama la Chatsene, Tene Lama Nanda idem Kingulas Sundusane Ene Lama di Cube Lama Nambadam, Ene idem Gelazo Choju Tusuna Shube Gawa Seda Jeva. 탐제 달라 제 고네 다게 몰람 넘버다바 지신도 주베 튕규르다 안치름 나로나 제제 지 저와 빵도스요 다 주주게 와서다 잡디디지 초진에 금들이야 친gel라버좀도 마세베 저니기다 삼조르 넘버다베 고네 모놈 자지 방부를 제제 다 소소의 삼조르 남당 아주 방부니 이조르 송사르지 여러봐 데데제레 드린두사다 조지 방도 송아르니.
So initially starting with the application, it begins with Namo Guru, that is prostration to the homage or prostration to the Lama, the Guru, and which in this context would refer to whoever is one's root Lama. And then the opening the verse with to the root Lama and all lineage masters, and the mandala of the deity of Yidams, as the verse continues. So, and then beyond that, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and 10 directions. And so invoking all of them, and so requesting them to consider one kindly and bear witness to one's aspiration, and so whatever support is necessary so that one's aspiration, as one asks for or wishes for, becomes thoroughly and properly fulfilled. So towards that, one is making the so that one has the given that one has the proper motivation, and given that one wants to follow that motivation through with action or application, and requesting the enlightened objects to be on one hand a witness that this is genuinely done, and in another sense to grant blessings, and witness from the point of view of, just as we like say in the Lojong practice, like of the 2 witnesses or 2 judges hold the principal one. So in that sense of being a witness.
The depth did way to have the teaching us. I young age, young one to watch of okay. Today in debate, Shanna, teach now. 다 될래야 다 니버 몰람 거래야 지다 처자게 몰람 넘버 니수요 다 될래야 지당 그 몰람 사데 뭐도 몰람 윤두산에 다 뭐도 몰람 기 개발데 무유개와 유에네 거버디 뭐다 무유개와 매가 아래 대달 쇼지냐베 매바준치아디 아니 몰라미스데 숭도하래.
So now, as for the actual aspiration, there is a general aspiration and specific aspiration, or what is known in Tibetan as molam, and that is the actual and general. And then also in the way of clarification, what is the difference between aspiration and dedication as an aspiration? And the difference is that dedication as an aspiration is because there is something to dedicate and towards, and whatever accumulation of merit, etc. And then aspiration is, even though there is nothing to dedicate, but one can wish for or aspire for whatever certain the aspirations. So from that point of view.
대야 남아상게 벨루리아 안토마 가수에 통탄이라 차와니스 다들의 소유비 인두산에 토마르지 굴론데 토메 차와데다 굴론데 차디어 근데 인두산 굴론데 게셔버려서 굴론레 상에라 때네 에네고 가수에지 굴론 최소 소마송데 때네 에너지 간zam베 차와디确认嘛的就是他家的做他们古龙的啥嘞有印度山呢那古龙里啊商业啥的但古龙确实送嘛送啥的瞧的主要古的龙节去什的确实就没多啥的给其他的话 아니 니버티 탐에 차와데 던 중어와도 몽람기 게다버 차디 다강 쌈베 게와티 에 가르소에다 상계 톱체기 규른 로마로 성마로다지 로마로 사디 다 우주 다 ngwa da monglam gi ji ge da ma do ji samsa khashi ji ge wa sa ye bi ne ge wa de ya ji chu sa la ge wa kha sa sha de ngon do le mi gong ba do ya shi do ngwe sha na ngon do le mi gong ba zhe shi to ne de ne go zuo zhu ba de ju de de mai ba ge wa khan zam be ge wa di nam kin zo be chen ju ge gyu le ya ro ma do sa di ngwa da monglam gi get modobji telebaji already users today news ana ta thongda ni la chawa ni sunga de ke chim sungyo.
So in Buddhist practice what is important to bear in mind is what is known as the beginning and the end, the conclusion, and the two activities that are important at the beginning and at the end. And one, that the beginning is in reference to one's motivation, that is the attitude. And so it is extremely significant as to what kind of motivation one has. Noble or that unwholesome motivation. And in other words, that the motivation by itself has to be properly turned towards the Dharma. And because it is the motivation that would determine the process in which that one's activities will go along. So the initial phase, the beginning act that is important is the proper wholesome motivation. And then the final or the ending, what is to be done at the end, which is also significantly important, is the dedication or the dedication aspiration. Because again, whatever merit is accumulated will bring about the realization of complete Buddhahood or not is determined by the vision of the goal of one's dedication. Given that one has accumulated amount of merit as a result of wholesome deeds, and without the proper skillful way of dedication, the chances of that such accumulation of merit could become exhausted or could go to waste, or that because of the myopic way of dedicating it, or the short-sighted way of dedicating it, it could only result into one's experience of birth in the higher realms of existences, such as that of human and deva realms of existences. If one is to experience the perfect state of omniscience, that of the Buddhahood, then the dedication has to be made towards that end. So as such, that as to what goal one will achieve is dependent on the far-sightedness of the dedication and the aspiration that supports it.
다 디제래야 다 몰람 그거를 쉐비나 다 칼시야 어디다 몰람라 한 다나시 몰람 단 디레지 사람이다 다나시 몰람기 베나지 칼로교 어떤 게 쉐나시 몰람기 자와데지 드라이버 모두 당연한 시체네 코페 칼로디비 가르소지 다 상계 공파 토야 제도베 랑가르 디톨이야 칼로 규제로디 응어에 칼로 규시고르스 그래가지고 동샤나로 세 컴지저 제외 교회 자와 갈라바다서 세 컴지저 교회 자와 중우주마도 매비네야 대야 고mollam기 카지 교륜도 사네 안디 남제 탐제샤 교디 중주주마도 아무래도 대부 남제 나바 탐제 개배기 대부 라나마시베 디스토고로 아드레 두사네 되고 초진이 칼로 교요로 초진이 빼기요로 대부 미세바 패와 가라서는 교 중주주마도 요마로 tunjujileya se kamjidan zawe gewe zang jingwa de yawmar dine ti ene be ngowe gedaba ina ane miseba pini miseba sidu sangda jibuti kasu sangye gongpa to ya chibchi sangye gongpa tobne ko senjo ur sigo marwa sangye gongpa tobne ane kasu da jisimji shendwe se me sheba da diriji che toya ji gyunru shukun zhugu yebe indusane that need to take one of the genes.
Now, another characteristic of Malamo, the aspiration, is aspiration has the ability to steer it in the direction one wants, like whoever is sitting in the driver's seat has control of the steering. So in this way, that whatever needs to be steered in whatever direction. And in this regard, what is to be steered is whatever merit is accumulated, and to steer it in the direction where one wants, that is what becomes most significant. For instance, in the Sutra of the Confession, it is mentioned that whatever merit that one has accumulated from giving a bite of food to someone, and so in a way, what merit can you accumulate in just giving one bite of food to whoever being? But if you can use the power of aspiration and how the aspiration can steer it towards the right direction, that that even such a little amount of merit accumulation, you can steer it towards the realization of complete enlightenment. So that's one way of appreciating the benefit or the power of aspiration. Another is it is because of the power of the aspiration that whatever merit is accumulated, it could be steered towards becoming manifold, and therefore the benefit becoming inexhaustible, and towards the realization of complete enlightenment or Buddhahood. And once Buddhahood is accomplished, does that mean then it's exhausted? Of course not. That once Buddhahood is attained, then one is endowed with all the abilities towards benefiting beings, and so that inexhaustibility of the effect continues to be.
Today in Dusane, da tele jiong jida chira monom nisu yabare jiong chara monom namba delia dadan taye simjen tamje ki samjor nangda kanri lege kursum yome geso chugyuna gyawa gushi gyasur jugyuru jis. Da dine sundusan da jidangi dangi shub nashi da monom che sidusane wada dedu shoji nyabarabda wada ji sangye gomba tobar shoji saso da monom di 디스 투충으로 좀 해줘. 쇼지스를 주르바다. 다들에 뭐가 될때 투체에서 좀 해줘서 다. 고 개와로 지 개외자로 사지 ene di de tobe gyulya ro gyusi je de 뉴스 조세 임비네야 다 다가 송여 버점식이 버진 저기요 말았어 다 대한배 삼조로 표숨 쳐be 삼조로 삼바단 조르와베 차창하러 지 니지게 토안에 몰람 잡이나 아니 몰람 잡이 투차로 용구 유사래 드네도 송어와 이나 몰람이 임베 캡스 러고르와 어와 이나 몰람이 임베 캡스 다 드네 뉴스안에 다 그래서 빼차샤 이미나 맞아요데 베나지 미 남주 유행게 지소 토하나 베지 삼로당 통계 지소 된된 삼로당 통계 미 대한고 남주 유행게 지기 코나 당부 79뒤네 가수에다 지소를 폐하당 가수에다지 미망 된된 지 폐하가 70을 된지 유협 제제 그 내가 충주주마다 재매비네 그래서 담배 370 코나 지소를 편도배 유진부 편도 영향으로지 된대체도 미니 토메 삼로 코란 된대지 북경을 비싸로 단지 그 내가 제윤도 산에 디 가수에 레 투첨으로 쳐로 내가 참사양 제 용용스로 받아 가수에 미지기 고 담배 삼례는 시시 나로래야 대지 휴지기 다지 편도 납신 중성성으로 지게 매ብ지 나도 봐봐 저 더블이 대왕기 에너지 야지 편도 만 지소래야 편도 침들이 용스로 다 대하고 더블이 대왕을 쓰려 마도 창으로래야 되는 요함이 인주산에 다지 가르 신이 되버렸으나 단다 너나 아주 푸기하는 미 삼로로 단지 된대지기 푸기하는 미기 에네 삼바다 조와 드리지 차차에 거네 네 가서 삼조 차차와 지기 거는 뭐는 잡이나 된된데 뭐도 뭐는 투치 붙여
So, in the aspiration, there being general and specific aspiration, and so in terms of general aspiration, so an example would be the second verse, which in this translation reads, "Streams of virtue unsullied by threefold fixation or references are born on the snow-covered mountains of the pure intentions and actions of myself and all innumerable beings. May they flow into the ocean of the Buddha's four kayas." So this would be such an example. So when we're talking about aspiration, we just making the wish that such and such be realized, like the may we realize the state of Buddhahood, and to the extent that nothing is supporting it, makes it sort of less stronger, weaker. Whereas in the case of dedication as aspiration, we have something to support the aspiration, that is, by the power of this merit accumulated, whatever merit, that may one's aspiration become realized. And so the aspiration is backed by merit accumulation. But nevertheless, that simply because one has accumulated merit and making dedication is no guarantee for the fulfillment of the goals, in that the dedication of the merit with the proper aspiration must be supported by the pure motivation and the application that goes along with it. And so, in that case, that it is not only dedication, but it is an aspiration, as it is said, that the dedication is aspiration, as a form of aspiration. So the way that one makes the dedication, the sort of the vision and the far-sightedness is of tremendous significance. For instance, if there is an individual in the society and who has some sense of position or responsibility in the society, but this individual is also endowed with the necessary propensities in terms of the intelligence, the capacity of the mental capacities to be able to discern, then such a person who is dedicated towards the well-being of the society, who is also endowed with the intelligence and know-how, then when he or she make the plans for the society, would make a plan in a way that it would have long-term benefit, and it would have a more lasting and enduring benefit, and not just for temporary purposes, that this long-term benefit, a lasting plan that would have long-term substantial benefit. Nevertheless, sometimes it happens that even if a certain individual does not have a particular plan or sort of foresightedness, but as a matter of perchance, that the favorable circumstance comes about, and in a way that that time the individual is fortunate to be able to have something going, like not initially in the plan of thinking. But when does those kind of situation come up? That it's only a once in a while situation. So to be realistic, that one has to be supported by a broad-based sort of plan and the wisdom or the discernment to back it. So in this same way, that the aspiration of the dedication should be so too.
Samleya 가르쳐오다. 되는 제자 소설 체는 뭐는 게. 다들 지용 거 잘 뭐는 게 그러다. 제자 소설 체는 뭐는 게. 다들 지용이 거래. 다 제자다 제자 소설 체는 뭐는 게. 드린 게 시험 어제. 될래야 이게 좋아지는 지가서 기술다. 아니 디디하고 만들었어.
So then, as I was talking about earlier, there is...
쇼로가 니슈장아마도 매자 니们신나도 벌써 참여해. 아주 디 시딩 디베 쇼로가 야타만 붙이 되어디 니만이의 제가 나라 반도에 샤러 받아. 좀 디데 사바.
So about the specific aspirations, probably we don't need to discuss that today. Maybe for the remaining time, if you have any questions, probably a discussion would be preferable, and so you can ask questions. There is only some 25 verses here, and we should be able to easily cover it in the few sessions of teaching we have, since the Sheting, or the letter to a friend, had over 100 verses, and we managed to run through them in some sessions, several sessions of teaching, so it shouldn't be so difficult in that respect. So any questions for discussion?
接下来问问题，我不想再解释下去了。
You want to?
No. 对。In order to learn, 그래.
이신부 송단질 때는 쓰기도 그렇구나. 이신부기 티낭에디 로종 태백이 쳇 티낭기 요나스.
로종 태약 쳇. 다 가죠. 예지야 가르쳐리나.
지방도 송도 센터. 정다 태기 쳇.
Learn means something. 당예지 되게 최시도 사네. 담들제다 미유르드 마 담들 가시 참자네. 다 내리제 저가 좀 지단다 예 최시에서 마체지 에네 나랑 외네 셰비는 군한수 가르쳐야다. 게르르 차디 경향을 두세요. 근데 인도산에 근데 learn some 다시 근데 시라 미세 근데 미세 말하는지 바로에 미유를 근데 시라 숨에 숨야 거라 그래서 정말로 게임 경계 차디에 장에 learn 저랑서 롭좀 표현이 있어. 저 그래.
길이
말
롭좀 대체들라.
말 롭좀 대야지.
No. 사실
오.
사실 랍나 롭좀 시위 용도 도시에 된게 기여만.
아네.
대단.
랍나 롭좀 대야.
No. Do you teach to learn?
For me. Oh yeah. 당 알아도 되래다. 롭좀 대야를 주래다. 아니 신다 소리야 미세다 녀당 주시는 신이래. 아니 지 가서래. 섬주도 렌차를 주래다.
Oh yes. I think His Holiness didn't get the question. Anyway, so now said yes, sure, of course. For me, it's a learning experience, but that usually seems beside the point, since most of the time I find the audience to whom I'm attempting to teach are all older than me. So I wonder if they're learning anything from me.
To what? Purification.
What purification? What? Sorry?
dimnichang 가르쳐.
So what's the question?
What is? Okay. 드바니창을 걸 쉬었어 거래. 아지 드바니창 걸 같이 잡다. 다 드바니창을 도저고 저 시험인도다. 지 뉴몬의 지시제 지바. 다 지당 그다 뉴집을 재미있는 다지 아주 지 녀모래야지 다 초진의 시합이나 아니 얘랑 좀 되서다 뉴집 번거였지 시기여 봐 뉴집 번거에서 숨거 봐 근데 뉴스는 다 녀모 벌려야지 녀모대야 라브라도 녀모 배사와디 다 등진 디모로 다 드네지래야 토여비 인두산에 디 녀모라야 아니 녀모 이시 가르쳐다 돈이도 싫어게야 나 대양고 가서 도마라 다지 우메 슝로 대존에 중배 직배 람네베 가서다 제곰기 고네베 가서 라 아니 드네진 조금기 고네베 라로 드네 제비나 뭐 뉴지 바사지 요 시브로 다 드네 시제 드바사데 시자사데 사데 지당 냥대 zam원도 제발이야 아니 버지 시드 방고 유베 매베 소시다 니랑 좀 공부도 진비네 근데 매버지 남게 좀 상게 더어 데미나 시드도 방고 여러 다 근데 이제 시제 집에서데 나라고 고지 제비는 다 간다지 시제 타다래야 배지 가르쳐지 몽베 집어데 정부 유베 인도산에 다 드다데 나라 드다네베 시제 타다래야 소수의 롭종 제약이 시스템도 마세베 소수의 다다지 롭종 제약 깨버려 먹유비 시작신다라 아니지 마음발해야 되듯이 시제내라 깨버려 주지사로 근데 타는 몰람 주제네 겸네 다든데게지 가서지 시절에야 로드 양보를 체네 될래야지 초다 리수 맞아봐 체네 딱 간다 조 시절에야 안돼 당아주지 남배 시제점에 다 도나 시제 감수 예배 최대한 탐제려야지 마시고 몸버세고 예배 인도선 다들 람상 아주 제도하자 가버지 다 이미네 다 타는 모람 주제네 겹든데 샤베네 남식 사람 지 딘디로 초체 지 용하면로 다 예비네 조대 다 담보 가서야지 고리로 제비미나 담보 지 용모래 년부 댄세 그라간서로지 가서다 맞으네 맞아 지 차게 침벽이 거돌이야 안에 지 가서야 탐제로 이제 셈래야 내도 뉴체 셈네 내도 뉴용도 산에 최탐지 셈이 넘주의마 셈이 넘주의마 인도산다 셈게도 랑오를 최제베 가서다 셈모 최베입니다 아니 대 넘주도 샤베 최대다 탐제래야지 가서래 준두 난과시보다 버사도 이제 영화 예송다 준두 난과시버사지 딘지도 알아라고 영향하고 면다야 다 간다 콜 이시베能够前边一些男人下去过月送的，得不得不去啥嘞？人家来了不嘛嘞？特别的来了要嘛，得不得不去的有啥嘞？现在这就送过，但这的去前面中，现在到搞钱场面送的，他做啥了那是？
Well, just generally speaking, in order to purify the veil of the conflicting emotions, then one has to first begin to appreciate as to what is the source of the veil of conflicting emotions. And then in finding out the source of the veil of conflicting emotions or the habitual tendencies is that of the habit of ego clinging. And so, in order to undo the habit of ego clinging, one must first get a sense of how to undo that view-wise. And towards that end, one needs to learn to appreciate the authentic view of emptiness and as an antidote. And so therefore, through the study of the different aspects of the middle way concerning the understanding of the view of emptiness, approaching it first by the analytical approach, that is so-called also the analytical meditation, and then following that the meditation and sort of resting, and so that's the approach one would take. And now talking about the other veil, that the veil of the conceptuality, and that, or the conceptual veil, well, that is to realize the state of the personal liberation, or that state of arhatship. It is said that one does not have to be completely free from this subtle veil, the conceptual veil of conceptualization, but in order to in order to realize perfect Buddhahood, then yes, one needs to become free from the veil of conceptual tendencies, or that veil of conceptualization, and towards that, then what it means is that one has to have unimpeded sort of know-how, or the knowledge into all knowable, phenomena. And so probably at the moment, we are at the stage where maybe we can simply make aspirations that all the right circumstances come together for us, so that the door of intelligence opens more widely for us, and that may we be able to have the ability to comprehend all forms of all objects of noble without any bias, any partiality. For instance, that knowledge not simply restricted to Buddhist doctrines, but all within the whole sphere of existence, whatever is there to be known, whatever is a phenomena that can be known, understood. And so be making such aspirations and hopefully resulting into all the auspicious conditions and circumstances coming together so that we get to some stage like this. Now, in terms of the order, obviously would be first to work on becoming free of the gross mental afflictions and the veil of mental afflictions, and then towards that end, in the Mahamudra tradition, then that is dependent on understanding the essential nature of the mind, and with the understanding that everything that arises is nothing other than the projection of one's own mind. And if one realizes that it all phenomena ceases within that, so all phenomena is seen, rather understood as nothing other than the projections of the mind. And if the nature of mind is understood, then all phenomena would be understood in that way. So, but this is something that, while it sounds very simple, but it certainly does not sound like something easy to realize.
Last question. What? I don't know. 1, 2, 3. No, okay. Yeah, you. Please. What? Yeah. Which kaya? Oh, yeah. Okay, 4 kaya. Okay. Oh? Ah. ¿Qué cosa? ¿Dónde? ¿Qué sucede? 간도 들으면돼. 밀라레바 때에 구시 콤파니에요 말았을 때 도스 얘기지. 이 가라스다. 다팅이 아무 정해면도 이래를 지세요. 오늘 샵이나다 마발로 계속 마발로 자외게 되는 배 가서 이체 전부 구비 땅투베이나 이체 스두스탄베 이체사다가 말다야니. 베르와체 도부탄 다다 베르와 교니 민도스다 저와 베티체야 저 구타바 정도나 다르와 같이 체유스로 다르와 이제 전부 뒤이나 다르스 가서 뒤에서 뒤에 뒤에 게임스메 그러와 이제 전부 게임에 신수요 이제 전부 구탄도 보이나 아니 류마바마 상견로레스 다 근데 사르지요레 야 디시진 이제 파드 드레 인두산에 다데 동모도 인자 파드 수마도 상게민두스다 파드 내가 수마도 다 지구래야 파도 추기구를 섬으로다 치와 추기구 나발이야 왜 상게라 에너지 루덴 텔라야 다지 다 주구 남바서라 가서 다디 가서 다디 어라다 루덴 디니래야 베 꿀루마 바와체네지 가르소다 지 가서다 지 가지고 있는 헬페이지는 지 호랑이 알지. 근데 중요한 말에 살죠. and the showman in Zan and the Chiwa Chugugi. That Negalia and the Sangas, the J. Sonar. And the name you stand it, that did the compassion. And Chiwa Chugi Negala, but the Gushi Sangi was it? What's the name here?
Martha had been able to put him through, the 9 tasks, and where 9 times where Milarepa would have given up the herbs completely, and 9 times that, then said that he would have attained enlightenment.
That disappointed, that disappointed.
9 times of total disappointment, total sort of hopelessness, and then he would have attained enlightenment without leaving his body. And since that did not happen, he only became totally disappointed or hopelessly disappointed only 8 times. So, some strings attached there. And as a result of that, he only attained the state of Dharmakaya at the Bardo state, and that is the Bardo dead state. And so called that the experience of Dharmakaya. So probably that would constitute realization of the 4 kayas, I would think so, but so maybe it's said in that reference. I'm not exactly sure, but probably it's said in that reference.
Thank you. No. O sonam de gamje sebo to nyebe ran banje keba maji bolo druba sibe le do jo chanjo semjo rembo che mage bana yo jeba nyamba meba konde kondo peo